I am has sent me to you. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you again for coming back to my channel, and I thank you for all my subscribers. So, today, guys, I want to talk about Drive-Thru Prophecies. You can't have it your way. If you turn with me to Numbers chapter 22, we are talking about the children of Israel. We are also discussing Prophet Balaam and King Balak. So during this time, the children of Israel just recently got out of slavery, out of Egypt, and they are pursuing their promised land. As they are pursuing their promised land, they come across the land of Moab, and they make pitch there. They pitch in the plains of Moab, as you can see in verse 1, or read on verse 1. Verse 3 says, And Moab was so afraid of the people because there were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. The Moabites realized that the children of Israel covered the face of the earth. They were great. And so King Balak noticed this because he was the king of the Moabites, and he did not want the children of Israel near Moab or dwelling in Moab. So he sent forth messengers to Prophet Balaam. Prophet Balaam heard from the Lord. He spoke the words of God. So King Balak inquired of Prophet Balaam and pleaded with him that he would curse the children of Israel. Numbers chapter 22, verse 9 through 12. And God came into Balaam and said, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. So the messengers sent forth that Balaam refused to come with them. And so King Balak yet again sent princes more and more honorable than they in verse 15. King Balak was so desperate that he decided to offer Prophet Balaam a promotion with great honor in verse 17. And I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, and I pray thee, curse me this people. Prophet Balaam sought the Lord the second time, and God again made a statement to King Balak, saying that the children of Israel are blessed. What God has blessed, you can't curse. The third time, King Balak made plea with the prophet Balaam. And the third time, this time, Prophet Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went through the princes of Moab. Verse 22, And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. So here we have Prophet Balaam insistently upon a donkey going towards or making a trip to see King Balak, but the angel of the Lord kept standing in the way to keep him from doing that. And as Prophet Balaam was having trouble with the donkey, he kept hitting the donkey 3 times altogether. And the anger of the Lord was kindled upon Prophet Balaam, because Prophet Balaam was he was not seeing what was going on. His eyes weren't open to seeing the angel of the Lord from stopping them to go see King Balak. Verse 31, Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. So the prophet Balaam actually realized at that point that the angel of the Lord was stopping them. Verse 35, And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. Prophet Balaam spoke the third time the word to King Balak and continued to bless the people of God. Of course, King Balak was very, very upset and very angered by the whole thing. King Balak did not get his way. Here we go to Numbers chapter 23, verse 11. It says, And Balak said unto Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse my enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. Verse 20. Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. So here we have Prophet Balaam saying to King Balak that he had a commandment from God to bless the children of Israel and not to reverse it. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. So, King Balak did not have his way. However, now in today's society, you have people who claim to be uh, prophets, and I'm not saying they're not being used of God, but there are some prophets out there who lead many people astray. As you can see here, Prophet Balaam was used by God, and we also want to talk about Numbers chapter 31 and how in the future Prophet Balaam led the children of Israel to sin and to have a plague come over them. So, yes, Prophet Balaam heard from God, but he also led the people of Israel astray. Numbers chapter 31, verse 14 through 16. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, and which came from the battle. And Moses came, said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, they caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. There will be in these days prophets who will lead the children of Israel astray, who purposely want to have them commit trespass against the Lord. And there are people who just want to hear a drive-through prophecy. They want to have it their way, but God says you can't have it your way. What God says, it is set in stone. Who he blesses, he cannot curse. Who God blesses, any person, he or she cannot curse. Drive-through prophecies don't stand. Only God's prophetic words, true words, will stand. If you want to hear a prophetic word that soothes your ears, you you're on the you're on the wrong side. So enough with the drive-through prophecies. You can't have it your way, only God's way. With that being said, we bless Israel. Shalom.